Yo, what up, guys? Alright, so in this video I want to focus on setting up the profile page. Now it's not going to be anything hectic. It's just going to show the what you call it, the login, the first name, last name, and email, and a simple image. Now before doing that, there's a couple of things I need to set up first within the main activity, because we're going to need the top bar. What is it? Top bar, the action bar. I think they refer to it as the action bar. That's what we're first gonna set up, so that we are able to go to the profile page itself, because the main activity is gonna have a couple of things. It's gonna list the lists that the user has created, and then the user is gonna be able to go to the the profile page, and in that profile page there will be a logout button as well. But this one is just going to be the initial setup of all of that, so that we can see all of the information that was stored within our preferences when we were logging in. Alright, so let me first go here. I think let's first start by setting up and designing the profile page. Now just need to quickly close this. Okay, so let's go to the profile page. So we're going to start with the design, and then we're going to move to the main activity, because there's a couple of more other things we need to add in the main activity itself. So I'm going to set this to split to code, and then the first thing we need to do is change the layout. So I'm going to change this to linear layout. Okay. Padding, I'm gonna set that to 20 dp. Okay, and then the orientation is going to be vertical. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is the image view. Right, this is going to match parent, and then the height is going to be about 140 dp. Margin top 15 dp, and then the source is going to be so remember we added these files in a previous video, so there's a file in here called profile, so that's the one I'm going to add. So this is going to be at drawable, and then I'm going to select the one that says profile. Right, let's just close it for now. We will adjust the sizing if we need to at a later stage. So now the text view, this is going to be match parents and then wrap content. So the margin top and bottom, I'm going to set this one to 7 dp, and then the text size, this will be 25 sp, and then the text itself is going to be your details. Alright, so now the next thing is we're going to add a couple of text fields. So so let's start by doing text input layout. Again, it's gonna be match parent and then wrap content. Margin top 10 dp. Okay, So that's gonna wrap the text field. Now we need to add the text field itself. So this time we're gonna select input edit text, match parents, and then wrap contents. The hint will be first name. Let me just see what else do we need. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So now I'm gonna copy these exact same fields, and then I'm gonna set them. I'm gonna create two more. So one for the last name and then one for the email. So this last one will be email. Okay, my spelling is wrong here. Okay, so I need to give these an ID. So this one I'm just gonna just say prof. What is it? First name layout. It's too long. F name layout. This one will be this one will be okay. This is gonna be this will be txt. F name txt. Why are you doing that? Txt. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the layouts, the rest of the layouts. This one is going to be L name. L name. And then this is the text field. If you're wondering why I'm naming it prof email layout or prof email txt, so the issue is that in memory, if you don't be specific with these names, in memory it still gets picked up when you go to the actual class when you're trying to assign these objects to any properties within the class itself. I'll show you later what I mean by that. Alright, so okay, why is this stacking on top of each other? Let me just see, hold on. For some odd reason, these ones are stacking on top of each other. It's fine, we'll get back to these. Next thing I want to add is the button itself. So match parent, wrap content. For some odd reason, what's going on here? Let me just check. Wrap content. Okay. Okay, it was my mistake. Instead of saying wrap content, I said match parent. That's why it was not showing. Alright, those are our 3 fields there. Now, if I remember, in the previous project, I actually made them look a different color. But it's fine, we'll get back to that. Okay, so what I want to do now is go back to the main activity. Right. We will go back to the profile just shortly. So in the main activity, we need to add something at the top so that we are able to go or navigate to the to the profile page itself. Well, actually, the first thing I need to do is add a resource directory. I need to come here where it says res. I'm going to right click there. Then I'm going to say Android resource directory. So this is going to be resource type is going to be menu, and then I think I should click OK. So then it's going to create this here. Then we need to create a menu resource file. What did I name this? Let me just check, hold on. I think I named it options menu. And I click OK. Alright, so what we then need to do within this one, we need to add options or items, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to say item, Android ID, and this one is just going to be profile. I'm going to call it that, and then this is going to be Android title. This is going to be profile. Now this is where you would normally create your menu items, but I'm going to create a separate one. This is not going to do anything, just so you can see that, just so you can see how it's going to look when we actually add this. And then this one will be settings. Okay, I think that's it. And then now we need to come to the main activity. So now we're going to add a method within here. So we're going to add what is it, on create options menu. So if you type that in, the IntelliSense should pick that up. Alright, and then what we need to do now is say get menu inflator dot inflate. So we can say r dot menu dot options menu. Right, so remember this menu here is the one we just created down here in this directory. Alright, what's next? What's next is we're gonna just say menu. Alright, and then all we have to do now is return true. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is create another method. So we're gonna say on options item selected. So this is the one we need, and then let's see, last project I worked on, the switch statement didn't want to work, so let me just see if this will work. And then we're gonna say item dot get item ID. Right, I'm gonna say case if r dot id dot, remember we named it menu, what was it, menu profile. I think that's it. Let me just check again. Oh, this was the ID that we set up, but for some reason it's not picking it up. Okay, so it's like I said, the switch statement the last time I was working with it didn't want to work for some reason, so let's just replace it with the switch. Okay, now it picks it up. Alright, so here we have to send the user to the profile page, right? But firstly we need to return so let's create an intent action here. So basically this is all we needed to do here. So now bear in mind, I'm not going to add the finish method here because we want it so that when the user goes to the profile page, they are able to return to the main activity. If we add the finish method right after this, basically it closes off that activity or discards it, and then if you go back to the profile page, it won't. It's just gonna log, basically crash out of the app. So don't include that in this instance. So here we can just say go to profile. Okay, what else do we need? I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to say return. Okay, so now let's go back to the profile, actually main activity, or rather okay. So there's one last thing I wanted to add again. So we're gonna go back to the manifest file here, right? So the profile activity, I want it so that the parent action should be the main activity page. So all we have to do is say parent activity name equals to main dot activity. What else do we need? Let's leave that for now. Okay, so I want to apply these changes and see if all we've been doing is correct or not, and otherwise we'll just fix it as we go along. I'm going to pause the video while the project loads, then we'll once it's done, we will test and see if our profile page displays or not. Alright, so the application is installed on my phone, but as you can see, we don't get to see the menu. So let me just close it again and reopen it. So as you can see from the splash screen, the main activity, the options menu isn't displaying because the action bar isn't there. So for example, normally let me just show you again. Normally here at the top here there would be an action bar. So the action bar is what's going to display the menu along with the name of the or the title of the action bar. So where we need to change this is we need to come to values and then themes, and then we come here. So as you can see, this one is by default set to not show any action bar. So if I were to remove this, right, so remember there's two files. There's one for the dark theme, and then there's one for the light theme. So I'm changing in the light theme one, so I'm setting it so that the action bar must show. So I'm gonna again change I'm gonna apply the changes, and then you will check shortly how the application is going to show. Just gonna pause it for a second and then we'll continue right after. Alright, so the application is done. So as you can see, I'm gonna close it again so that you can see, right? So I'm gonna run the app. Now look there, the action bar is now showing along with the title of the application, and then now it's also showing again here along with our menus option. So as you can see, there's our menu option there, and if I click to profile, it should take us to the profile page. Now if you check another thing, there's an arrow here by default. Now the reason this is showing is because remember in the manifest file I added the main activity as the parent activity, so therefore that arrow is showing because I did this. So now if I go back again to the app, and if I were to click on this arrow, you will see now it's going to go to the main activity. As you can see, it went back. Now the problem comes in where we don't want to show this action bar on all the pages. Like for example, if I were to close this, and go back to the my application. I don't want it to show on the splash screen, so there's a way of removing this. So now let me just, if I remember correctly, all I had to do in terms of removing the action bar off of the splash screen is I would have to come here, and then here within the on create, if I'm not mistaken, all I had to say was get support action bar dot let me see, there should be an option to not display it. Oh, dot hide. I think that's it. So let me save that. I'm gonna refresh the app again, and let's see if this, remember this is for the splash screen, so it shouldn't show for the splash screen, and then all the other pages or all the other views it will display. So let's give it a second to build there, and then once it's done we're gonna test again. Okay, the app is up and running. Let me just show it again. So let's do this. I'm gonna close the application, right, and reopen it again. So now as you can see, the splash screen is no longer showing the action bar, but if you were to go to the main, it'll still display. And then if you go back again to the profile page, it's also still displaying there. So this should be fine. Now in terms of the title, I believe you can change the title. So let's do this. I'm gonna go to let's close the menu option, the themes, let's close the splash screen, let's go to the profile activity. So I think you can change the title by the same method. So I'm gonna say set title, right, then I'll call this profile. So sorry, spelling is off today. Alright, let me save that. I'm gonna apply the changes, and let's see if instead of my application, is it whether or not gonna show profile. So let's give it a second to install, and then we'll check it again. Alright, so the application is back. So let me just show you. So as you can see, now it's showing profile. I'm gonna close it and run it again. So as you can see, the splash screen is not displaying it, and then the the main activity is showing it. Then we're gonna go again to the profile page, and then there you go, it's profile. It's now showing profile. So we can do the same thing with the main activity as well. Let's see, we can call it dashboard. So let's copy that, and then let's go to the main activity, come back here, paste it, and let's just name this to dashboard. Save, apply changes. Let's give it a second there. Okay, so as you can see, the changes have been applied. Again, I'm going to close it, come back again, open it. Alright, so there you go. It's now showing dashboard instead of my application or the default name. So again, profile is showing. If I go back, everything is showing again. So remember, I added the settings option as well. Even though when we click on it, it doesn't do anything, but I added that just so you can see that this is where you add your menu options. If you have a settings page, any other page that you want to add, you can just add it on this item. Then remember to configure your main activity so that it has this. If each and every page is gonna, if you in your profile page you want to add a different one, maybe like I don't know what else you would add in the profile page, but if you wanted to add a separate menu, practically have to follow the same steps we did here, and then it should work. Alright, so let's see, is there anything else we need to add? I don't think there is. So basically that's the profile page. The other thing that we can do is add the details of the user here. So we can quickly do that if this video doesn't take too long. So I can come back here. I say shared preferences. Right, so what do we need to add? I need the text input, edit text fields. So the first one is email txt. No, the first one is email first name. So it's going to be first name txt, and then last name Alright, so let's hook them up. Excuse me. So the ones that we need to hook up is the alright, so it's first name txt equals to I think it's prof fname txt, and then last name I think the next one should be email. No, prof email txt. Okay. Alright, so now the other thing I want to do is that I want each field to have the values displayed. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna get the preferences first. So we're gonna say okay, so we're gonna say preferences equals to get shared preferences, and then remember we're gonna say string resource alpha dot get user details, and then mode private. Alright, so now all we have to do, I was gonna create a separate method for this, but I'm not gonna do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so let's see. So we need to say first name dot txt dot set text, and then this is gonna be from preferences dot get string, right? Then in here we're obviously gonna get the first name, and remember the way we named it was this. Otherwise, by default, we need to say it needs to be an empty string. What did I do here? Oh, okay, sorry. I need to add an extra parentheses. Okay, apologies. Right, and then we can do the same for the last name and email. I think we named it email instead of username. right? And then this will be L, last name, and then this will be last name. Right, let's apply the changes. Alright, the app is done installing, so let's go back to it. So I'm gonna reopen the app. So now it should display the name, the first name, the last name, and the email. Right, so I'm gonna go to profile, and there you have it. So as you can see, Jane Doe, and then the email address. So remember, this is all the info we got after logging in. So it stored all of the information within those preferences, and I don't have to show the token, it's there, as you can see. Otherwise none of the other stuff would have been shown. You can show it, but it's just gonna look ugly. And then I think that's pretty much it for the login screen. I mean, for the profile screen. We can go back to the main dashboard, and then that's it. So now look, like I said, in terms of the images, I did have them. The simplest way for you to download them, it should be from going to my GitHub page, and then let's give it a second to load there, and then you can go to the resources, and basically main, and then you can download them from here. I think it's this one. So as you can see, all of the images are there. So if you can, you just have to download this application so that you have access to these images here. So far we've only used them in 2 places. There's still other places where we're going to use them, the other ones, when we get to the registration part, when we get to when we get to display the success activity and stuff. You'll get to see all of that. But for now, as you can see, the login stuff worked. It stored all our information. I think the next video we should test and see if we can display all the notes of the user within the main activity, because we're gonna need to add a recycler adapter and all of that stuff, and so that the emails, what you call it, the notes, can be displayed on the main activity, this one here, instead of showing hello from main. Alright guys, so the video again is already long enough. I think I should end it here. Again guys, thank you for sticking all the way through to the end. I may have been bouncing around in some areas, but hopefully I was able to convey what I was trying to do there. But again guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys within the next video. Thanks again, and cheers for now.